Hello, everybody. My name is James Jordan, and welcome to our fabulous podcast. Um, I am a left below the elbow amputee. I'll give you a little bit of nub there. There you go. That's my left arm, right arm. So I'm I guess I shouldn't say my age. I am a middle-aged father of one beautiful daughter. Um, I love um, I love hockey. I love fishing, and I love my country. Um, that sounded very that sounded like very far
We
right.
became
But
Americans all of a sudden.
yeah, I know, right? Exactly. And I'm from Canada, eh? And you know what? We're here to have some fun, so I'm glad we're all laughing.
Yeah,
What
same
else?
here.
What more can I say? What more should I say? Tell me.
That's probably good. Oh, well, we're
Hi
already off
everyone.
to a great start.
I am Jamie. I am a right arm below the elbow amputee. Feel like introducing myself like I've done a million times throughout my life. My fun fact is that I have two hilarious cats, and I'm a very boring person. Yeah.
You're really not at all,
think you
but yeah.
In my 30s, I guess that's good.
My name is Amanda or Amanda Marie, and I'm actually a right leg amputee. I was born with a super rare condition called proximal femoral focal deficiency, and I have like the rarest form within it called type D, which basically means I was just born with just a tibia bone that was like hanging out. I don't have a hip joint. I had a foot and an ankle, but there was no ankle movement, so they just chopped the foot off because life is easier without it. And yeah, I've had five. How many surgeries have I had now? Five, six? I've lost count.
Too
Six.
many to count.
I've had six surgeries, but five of them were primarily just for reconstructive surgery. So that can be, I don't know. Have you guys had surgeries? No.
Not, I'm supposed to, but it not yet.
But you're, I'm supposed to, but I'm neglecting it.
I'm avoiding it. Shh.
That sounds like my approach as well, so I hear you. I don't know. I don't think anything is like a super fun fact about me. I love my dogs. I got two beautiful dogs, Lola and Lucy. Um, I'm a graphic designer for an amazing cannabis company, which I'm like loud and proud about. And most of the time, I literally like doing yard work, hanging out with my dad or my dogs, and that is about it. So, yeah, or coffee with friends. I'm a big like hang out and have coffee with friends type of person. So, I'm also boring. We've got a few topics that we kind of like pre-wrote out for today to discuss. So first one that we're gonna bring up is, what do we look like in our dreams? Do we have limbs? Who wants? I'm gonna let Jamie go first because this was her question.
I think this one's really funny because I think that, I mean, obviously well, it's not obviously, but I've been an amputee my whole life, so I've never had both my arms. But in my dreams, I have two arms. I do, and it is so weird. And also, I've had friends say as well that like sometimes when they dream of me, I have both my arms too. And my friends have been like, "Oh, I just called you a phony in my dream." Like, you're not the real Jamie. Get out.
So
Two,
can you
two-arm
like,
imposter.
when you say like you have two, can you actually like see two and use two, or do you just feel like you have
That's
two?
the question.
I can use two. So I don't see two. I can use two. Because I mean, it's like, it's supposed to be your view, right? You don't Like, you don't hover around. Like, wait, do you? Wait, this is actually a whole other question. Do you hover over yourself? Can you see yourself in dreams? I guess only in mirrors. Anyway, it's a bag of worms.
I feel like we're getting into more of like a demonic question. Do you see yourself hovering over your own body? I feel like we're like in the movie Insidious right now.
Yeah, really. But yeah, I'm able to use two arms. But truly, I don't even know what that would feel like regularly. So I don't really understand how it works or how it happens.
Okay, so that's my thing, is that when I dream about myself in two hands, and I do have two hands, I don't know how to use my left hand. So I'm missing my left hand, not my right hand, left hand, right hand. I can see that I have a left hand in my dreams, but I can't open and close it. I can't do anything with it. It's like limp. I can't do anything with it. That's the only experience I've ever had in dreams. Is like, that's what, when you said that's what was so crazy to me, and my jaw dropped, like, because you said you have your limbs and you could use them, and I'm like, really? That's crazy, because any dream that I've ever had where I have both my hands, I didn't know how to use my left arm. Like, I couldn't use it. Like, I don't even know how I would do this. And so in my dream, I can't. It just doesn't work. And then, so I try to link my brain to that, and it's because I think my brain has never had a left hand to link to or use. So in my dreams, if I do, in thinking back to many dreams I've had, I don't ever recall dreaming myself, dreaming of myself with just like my nub. Like, I don't remember seeing my nub in a dream. I always have two hands, and it's really messed up. But I can never use that hand. And then when I wake up and I think about it, and I stare at my nub, and I'm like, what if there was a hand there? Like, how would I even close that? Like, how would that even work? It's the same in my dream. I can't open and close it. I can't make that connection. So it's really crazy that to hear the perspective from another person who has the same amputation as me, on the opposite side, who you can use your hand, you can open, so in your dream you can like you can pick something up with it.
I can cut steak, James.
You can cut. Oh, how I wish I could cut steak. That's my darn you, steak. Yeah, once we get onto the dating subject, that's part of it. It's like, don't order a steak on a first date, because unless you're willing to, you have to meet a really nice person that will cut your steak for you.
No, I have opinions on that. Let's round back to that.
Well, when we get there, I also have opinions on that too.
Cool. I already have a strong opinion on that. Okay, like, how do you guys feel? I think what's kind of interesting too. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about like dreams and like the psychology behind them and like our subconscious or anything too. Like, do you ever feel like there's a correlation between like your dreams in real life, or if you reflect on them, that it can actually like help you get through things?
Absolutely, I do believe.
You guys are having two completely different reactions. Jamie's like, yeah. James is like, what mythological thing are you talking about right now?
It's almost like I don't want that to be true, because I've had some gnarly dreams, and I'm like, what the does that mean? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like, usually it's like warning you about stuff, or like telling you about the way that you're thinking subconsciously, or whatever. Or if you're stressed out about something, like, it's usually something about that. Like, really.
It really is, yeah. And that's most of what I dream about is what I'm stressing about, or what I'm thinking about before I lay down and go to bed. But I'll be honest with you, I don't dream often. I don't remember dreams. Well, yeah, not at night, but if I take a nap during the day, I have wildly vivid dreams, like insane dreams. But at nighttime, when I lay down and go to bed, yeah, I don't dream.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know what it is.
I have like very intense dreams. And I guess
do you have two legs in your dreams? That's the question.
Yeah, that is the question.
This is why I asked the phrase of question, because like I don't.
Do you know? Can you remember?
I don't know. Like, there's no In my dreams, I guess the best way to describe it is like in my dreams, I'm never like looking down at my legs, right? Like I'm not like staring and watching my legs walk in my dreams to really like have that correlation. But I can tell you, like, when I'm doing things in my dreams, I don't dream about like, oh, when I get up, I have to put my leg on to walk and do like A, B, and C. And furthermore, like I feel if I've had like honestly the last few years of my life, I've had like a lot of issues with my prosthetic fitting and just medical issues as an amputee in general, and a lot of those frustrations, but they never come out in my dreams like as these blockages through having like because I have one leg or something. Like I feel like if I'll just feel stress in other ways through my dreams, like I'd feel it through like, you know, as horrible as it sounds, but if that was causing me a lot of stress in my life, maybe in my dream I'm dreaming like one of my loved ones is dying or something's wrong with them because it's just bringing on stress and connecting it to me. So but to answer that, like I just feel like I'm gonna say it feels like everyday life. Like I just don't think about it, and so it's not. Whereas with you guys, you're hand and arm amputees, right? So like you're using it to do stuff. You see your hands like doing daily tasks all the time. But like I don't go around walking staring at my feet and being like, oh, they're like one in front of the other as I'm walking. So I don't know, maybe that has a correlation, but like I just don't dream about my legs at all. Like,
What about like walking and falling? You ever had a dream where you've fallen over? Because I've seen you fall a few times. And it's not funny at first.
it is and it isn't. You're not wrong.
It's
Usually
horrifying until you let out like a huge laugh from the ground, and I'm like, okay, she's okay.
That was a really
you
good
know,
impression
like
of
ice.
Amanda, by the way.
Walking as a leg amputee, that's just like that's where it's like, okay, Jamie and I, you know, we got the arm covered, but with the you're covering everything for the legs, and it's like obviously a whole different ball game. It's good to have both sides, the arm and leg amputee, but you know, different terrain is like can be a nightmare for you, right? Like ice and snow and up and like hills, inclines, stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, I've seen you bail a few times.
I'm now gonna have a dream where I had to walk like 400 kilometers uphill in a blizzard, just like my parents, and then it's gonna be a challenge because I have one leg or something.
Yeah, you're gonna look down and be like,
I'm gonna watch my legs the whole next dream I have.
Or you'll have two legs and you'll be like, damn, I'm walking up this hill no problem. This is great.
So, okay, my question to you is, just to kind of spark off of this, like mentally, maybe why in my dreams, like it's just not even a factor, whereas you guys have like a bigger connection to like that dream hand, whatever. With that being said, like I guess not obviously, but to me, I wear my leg everywhere I go, right? Like I don't use crutches, I don't use a wheelchair unless I'm going through surgery. So when I get up, my like first thing I do is I put my leg on if I have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. But my brain when I'm doing that task is not like, oh, you're getting up and putting your leg on. Like it's just what I do without thinking about it. Whereas like I don't know how you both are, but from like what I know about you both, you don't wear it, as I can see right now, like 24/7 unless you're sleeping, showering, etc., etc.
Not at home.
Yeah.
As soon as I leave the house.
Yeah, it's like shoes. So, like, the time that you'd put on shoes is like a time that you'd put on your arm. In my opinion, anyway.
Okay.
Do you wear it when you leave the house? Still? Right now, Jamie?
Yeah, for the most part I do.
Okay, because I know you didn't for a long time. You were comfortable with that.
For a while I didn't. And partly, the reason why is because I'm avoiding that surgery. But you said that you don't recall. Did you say that you don't recall putting on your leg when you're like get up in your dreams?
No.
And because I do know you, decently well, and we've spent like a decent amount of time together, I know that like when you're chilling out, you're not wearing your leg.
No.
So that's the thing, right? So it's like here's my, like, deep dive into Amanda's dreams here. Creepy, yes. Yeah, exactly.
I just leave it beside me. Yeah.
Exactly. But anyway, here's my
So you're not
deep
wearing
dive.
it now. It's
No.
beside
no.
you.
Yeah. So here's my deep dive into Amanda's dreams. Like, if you don't put it on, creepy as this might sound, if you don't put it on, then I'm assuming you have your leg in your dream, because your like automatic is to take it off when you're chilling out. You're sitting down.
Yeah, just take it off or put it on. Like,
But you never remember a dream where you don't recall wearing it.
I don't know. No.
So this
It's
is
just
what I'm
not a
saying.
thing.
It's
Like,
just not a
if
thing.
you don't have to
It's
put it on,
so weird,
then
man.
you
It's
have
just
a
not a
leg.
thing.
In
I
your dream.
guess it's just not a factor in my dreams. And I want to say that kind of correlates to my perspective in life as well. The next thing that we were going to talk about today, which is a great subject. Thank you, James, for bringing this one to the table today. Online dating. Take it away. What you mean by that, what you want to talk about that.
Well, I
'cause,
just mean that, online dating is it's how it seems to be what everyone does nowadays to meet people. I'm a single guy. I've been online dating so I've been online dating since before it was like accepted. Like, I was doing it when people were like, "Oh, what a loser you are." Online dating, right? Like I was
Plenty of
like
Fish days?
POF days. Yeah, Plenty of Fish days. Like, I was Plenty of Fish 15 years ago. And I remember when my friend told me about Plenty of Fish, I was like, why would they call it that? Like, I always thought that was a weird name, but let's not get into the reasons why. But yeah, so back in the day,
Marketing sucks.
Plenty of Fish. Yeah, I mean, I've been online dating for a long time, and of course, in those last 15 years, I've had multiple partners, and I'm now a single father, and we won't get into the details on everything, but I'm, happy in my place right now, and I think I'm like just starting to want to get back out there again. And then so I go to, when it comes to being an amputee, now online dating is it can be a bit of a tricky thing, like, and I guess my main thought there was like, well, the reactions you get from people, when to tell people about it, like, do you put it front and center? Say that you're an amputee? Do you just not say it but show it, which is what I did? Or do you completely don't show it at all and just show up on your first date and be like, yeah, by the way, I am missing a part of my body? And so, like, I think I probably overthink it too much. Like, people don't really care maybe as much as I think they do, but that's what they say. Right?
No, I think this is actually...
And what are they really thinking when they see that? And how many people are swiping left on me because they're like, do I really want that guy with a clamp for an arm? I don't know. And some of my, you know what I mean? Like, do they want to be with old Clampy over here? The old Pinchy? But, well, if I showed you the arm that I have right now, it's like it's a myoelectric Greifer hook is what the technical term for it, but it's a hook, but it's more like a clamp. It's pretty. I feel like it's kind of badass looking. It's like kind of intimidating almost, like when people see it, like, as opposed to just the not static, but like myoelectric hands that look like a real hand, right? But so I guess I'm getting a little off track, but yeah, but when
you do,
as I always do. But
James.
are you putting?
for it.
Hey, you said to be authentic, James. Here.
I
That's
said
what
I
I'm bringing
love
to
you
the table.
for
Baby.
it.
Anyway,
okay,
so
I'm also guilty. I'm just teasing you, but like also guilty. I do. Go on.
of course, we all are. But
Yeah.
so I guess that's where I was kind of going with it. Like, the question is, like, when do you talk about it? And so let me start off by saying, a good friend of mine, whom I will name him by his first name, Timothy. Whom you both know.
Hopefully we have Timothy's permission.
He's a leg amputee. He lost his leg to cancer. osteosarcoma.
And for those who like have never met us before, because we kind of sucked at the intro part of this a little bit, but that's okay.
We'll have to get that better.
We'll learn as we go. So the three of us actually all have known each other basically our whole lives in a way, but we all grew up together. We had the support of an organization that helps amputees emotionally, physically, financially, all that fun stuff. So we've actually all kind of grown up together, even though we don't live near each other at all. But that was kind of the beauty of being an amputee in Canada during the time period we were.
The golden age.
The golden age. So and like, you know, during that time we've kind of come and gone and been busy and not, but,
so we've known each other since we were kids.
We've known each other through all our stages and everything.
And that's the funny thing is that we all know Timothy, so that's why it was
we're laughing because we all know Timothy so
I better
well.
not say anything bad about him because I'm sure he'll watch this.
Well, first of all, there's nothing bad to say about Timothy, so I challenge you.
How long do you got, buddy? No, I'm just kidding. Tim. No, but
Go on.
Tim's one of my good friends in life, and he's a leg amputee. He lost his leg to osteosarcoma, so I'm not going to explain his amputation because it would confuse many people. But I'll just say he's got a backwards foot that acts as his knee, and so he's a Van Ness rotation. Or rotation-plasty amputation. So a lot of people that don't know what that is, you'll have to go and Google what a Van Ness rotation is, and I suggest you do that because it's quite interesting, and that surgery's only been around for however many years now, since maybe the 80s or 90s, I think. I don't know precisely,
at least the 86, because that's when I was born, and that was something that was discussed prior to amputating my foot.
And instead of losing your whole leg, so say you have a tumor in your thigh, they would take out your thigh section and just take your leg and spin around and surgically attach it back into your hip socket, your calf and your foot back into your hip socket, and you're backwards, and then your foot acts as a knee. Your backwards foot, the heel of it, acts as your knee. That's about as best as I can explain in this podcast. You're going to have to go and research on your own. But let's just, for the sake of it, say he's a below-knee amputee. And but we've had this discussion about online dating. That's all of that, just to get to here. He excuse me. We've had this discussion about online dating, and his perspective on it is like, show it up front and center, because you want people. It's who you are, man. Don't hide who you are and try and show up on a date and like, oh, hey, by the way, yeah, I got this, this prosthetic leg or this prosthetic arm. But his theory was always show yourself doing something cool with it on the app or on the. And I'm like, okay, so what's he was like, hey, take a picture of me like hiking on this big rock, or like hanging on to this thing, like, because we would rock climb and stuff like that and hike a lot. He lives out in BC. And he's like, oh, this would be like a cool picture for my dating profile, like me doing something active with my legs, so I don't look. His whole thing was not looking like. I think, and I don't want to say this to like offend anyone, but it's just like a lot of people will look at amputees, and as I sit here talking to three amputees, who I'm so close with, trying to walk. Like, I'm not gonna walk on eggshells with you guys. I don't have to, but. You know that when people don't get amputation, they look at you and they think, well, I'm going to have to do everything for them. They're disabled. They won't be able to do anything. And it's just like, well, show yourself doing something. Show yourself doing something active, so they know that you're not like, a lot of people that aren't in the world of amputation look at you, and that's the stigma that we get, right? Like, oh, they're not able to do this, they're not able to do that, we'll have to take care of that. Look, I'm going to have to cut this guy's fucking steak forever, right? Like, it's like, yes, please, I would love to find a woman to cut
I have
steak.
A lot of opinions on everything you kind of just said, and I know Jamie does too, and I also think our opinions are going to vary from experience and because we're also females. Straight females.
It's totally different for you guys too. So the male, 100% female,
so different. Which is beautiful that we actually all probably have very different experiences, because it just kind of goes to show, Yeah.
So
So
I'll
James,
say
you
I'll just
sound like you're kind of like your experience is you're overwhelmed and you are overthinking like what the person's reaction to you is going to be, basically.
I'm just gonna keep nodding because you cut out there.
Yeah.
I'm overreacting to people. What?
No, not overreacting. I'm not saying overreacting, but you feel like maybe I did use that word, but I don't feel you're overreacting. Just like you don't know how to like navigate that
Well,
part.
it's just a question of like that's what the question that's always come up. Like, how do you present yourself? Do you put it up front and center? Do you hide it until you meet the person? Because then people will sort of like, people may make that
Might
choice that
prejudge you or something.
prejudge you and not be with you. But then it's like, dude, that's what you want. You don't want to be with those people anyway. Like, why would
No.
you want to be with a
Yeah.
person that would judge you? But I have
So-
had situations where I didn't let them know that I was an amputee, and this is so rare. But in one particular instance, someone did say to me, "No, I'm not down for that." In person, to my face,
Yep.
I'm not down to be with an amputee. Like that kind of freaks me out.
Question for you: is that the first time that anyone's ever said that to your face?
Yes, because and to my face, to say that to someone's face.
How old were you?
That's when in my early 20s, like a couple years ago,
Oh,
early 20s.
okay.
Wow.
I'm so
kidding.
impressed that you went that long without somebody
Yeah.
saying that to you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look,
For
I'm
sure.
old, man. So like I'm, in my late 30s now. So early 20s, like 15 years ago for me. Again, when online dating was before online dating was the cool, like the thing, how you meet people.
My first experience with somebody, to my recollection, because it's kind of like a core memory for me, was my 13th birthday. We were all going to go to the movies together with me and my friends. We were in grade 9. And the guy I had a crush on, who was, I considered my friend at the time, I don't even know why this subject came up, but he was there. Like, so he's at my birthday party. And we're on the bus, and all of a sudden people just start giving reasons why they wouldn't date each other. And I'm like, yo, I'm staying out of this conversation because I'm super insecure back then. And I'm like, I don't want to even be involved in this conversation. I'm not even telling the guy I have a crush on him. Like, it's probably super obvious because I'm awkward, but like, I'm not vocalizing it by any means. And he just flat out in front of everybody on the bus and in front of me just looked and pointed at me and was like, I would never date you because you have one leg.
Ooh, that's rough.
I have never had a crush disappear so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, it was my birthday, it was my birthday party, like, fuck you, it's about me. And then, like, you, like, that's how I always think, but, like, yeah, for my birthdays, like, yo, but I don't know, for me, it was, like, a really eye-opening experience of, like, why would I have a crush on somebody that would treat me so poorly in a moment that was supposed to be like celebrating me? And it wasn't like it was brought up. I didn't ask for it. No one else brought it up. He obviously could just tell that I had feelings for him, and he was an asshole. So he felt the need to say it. So, I mean, that was my 13th birthday. Obviously a core memory. But then I've definitely on multiple occasions. You either know and they don't say it, or like they just say it to your face.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So that was the first instance.
I've had like very
Go ahead,
similar
Jamie,
ones
sorry.
too. Yeah, I've had very similar ones too, where it's like they don't say it exactly, but like you know.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
also had like an experience. So I was in a relationship for almost 15 years, and my ex-husband and I just recently split, and so I started online dating, and which blew my mind. Nothing made sense ever.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to say, you come from an experience, too, like online dating didn't really exist before 15 years.
No, exactly.
Like,
Yeah, no, online
so,
dating
yeah,
didn't
this is
exist
new to
before
you. Yeah.
got in my relationship, before I was married. Like, it didn't really exist. It did, but not really to the way that it does now. But anyway, I did meet someone and was like talking with them, mostly just texting and messaging and stuff like that. For a while, like I would say, in that like talking stage or whatever, the like 5 days or whatever, and And I am actually someone who puts it directly on my profile. I say it, photos, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's right out there. And so I made a joke about my arm, and he's like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "I mean, you know, like, I'm an amputee." And he's like, "What, really?" And I was like, "Did you read my profile?"
No.
No, he
They
didn't.
just looked at your pictures. They probably didn't even go through
He
your
didn't even go
pictures.
through all your pictures.
No.
He looked at the first picture and said that girl's fucking hot and was like, "Hell's yes." That's what happened.
And so eventually he was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can do that." Like, he went through this whole like spiel or whatever. Like, "I'm not sure if I can do that, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Really? Like 10 minutes ago you were like, 'Oh, you seem perfect. We need to meet as soon as possible.' Like, all this kind of stuff." And now all of a sudden it's just like, I don't know. Which, like, so I get it, James. Like, I get where you're coming from, because it's happened to me recently where I was just like, "Really?" But you know what? I don't care. So as time went on, you know, he sent me like a few texts like a couple weeks later apologizing for his crappy
Reaction.
personality, generally. Like, it's true. Come on. Like,
Just triggered my asthma. We're good.
his crappiness in
Drink of
general.
water there.
His whole being, really. He apologized for his whole being, and as he should. And then like was like, "I'm not really like that, like, I promise, like, blah blah blah." And then I was like, "Yeah, whatever, you do you, whatever you need to do, I don't care." Like, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been talking to someone else." Like, oh, I was like, "Cool." And then like even weeks after that, like, he would accidentally text me or something like that, and I would be like, "You know who you're talking to, right?" Like, anyway, so it's been so weird to do that, but I've definitely been the one of like, "You're just a crappy person." Like, you're just a really crappy person.
So, James, do you have on your profile, like, I am assuming like you have an active online profile right now?
I just started one, so like, it's Facebook dating. I don't know why I chose that one. It's because I haven't put myself out there in like a couple years, because I've been
Dude,
like
it's
kind of
fine.
just learning to be a father and dealing with my own situation that I've had going on mentally and stuff, like making sure I'm ready to get back out
Absolutely.
there and stuff. Yeah, so it was like, you know, understanding and focusing on being the best father I can first, and then now that I'm feeling comfortable with that, kind of getting myself back out there. But for my online dating profile, I don't say I'm an amputee, but I have a picture of me showing just with my nub, with my arm off. I have a picture of me with my like myoelectric Greifer hook, which is like a clamp, and then I have a picture with me with my myoelectric hand to show you that yes, I do have a normal looking hand. I don't always look like I'm half robot. But I feel like people kind of like half robot man too, so it's like, I personally like the hook. I think it looks cool. I like being different anyway in this world full of whatever. I just like being different from a lot of people, so you know what I mean? Like, I like being a little bit different, so I don't mind. And these days anymore, it's really what's functional for me too, right? So it's like, if this is what's working functionally best for me, like using the Greifer hook helps me. It's a little bit better than the myoelectric hand. Like, I'm able to lift things, use it to hold certain things, pinpoint accuracy on certain things when I'm picking it up, and like, I've been learning to use it really well. I find it's better than the other hand. Again, I'm getting off topic. Anyway,
Every time I just start to smile, he's like,
he's like, okay, I know.
I cue him.
But yes, so I have so I have pictures, but I don't say, hey, I'm an amputee. But that's only, I like I said, I've only just recently put myself back out there, and I was apprehensive for a while to do it, but I started with Facebook dating, which is really weird. I was gonna like get on. People told me to do Hinge and Bumble. But I haven't started a profile on those yet. Like, just the Facebook, which is, I don't know if it's good or bad. Like, Facebook dating, I don't know. But I've been
like
talking to a few people.
All of it's all the same, James. It's just all the same. It's just a
It
different
all
app.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was told by fellow friends that there's like there's a difference between the different dating apps. Like, and you're gonna find different pools in each one. Like,
So,
there will be
like,
overlap,
depends
but you're
who
gonna
you
find
talk
different people
to.
in each one.
Depends who you definitely talk to, because like I feel like there's definitely apps that I specifically thought were people definitely thought of as dating, not just hookup. And then on the flip side, those guys were like, yo, like online dating just for hooking up, and they think all platforms are. So like,
Yeah, because Tinder's that, right? Tinder's like hookup. But
no.
then and there's like Hinge and Bumble are more serious. Facebook dating is. I figured Facebook dating was more like.
Honestly, I think the only one is Plenty of Fish is like skeezy, let's hook up, and I think the rest are all interpretations of how people think of them. Did you guys freeze?
Yeah, you
You'll
froze.
pause when we freeze, which
You
just
think
makes
they're
it
all
like we're
hookup?
freezing longer.
There's people trying to hook up on all of them, obviously.
There's everywhere you go, people just suck, and that's really the reality. It doesn't matter if you're online dating, you're going to a bar, or you're literally in a grocery store or at church and some guy's just trying to hit on you. Like, skeezy people just exist everywhere. I say that for a reason, but skeezy people just exist everywhere, and that's just the truth. So like, I don't know.
Wow.
It's true though, and good people also exist everywhere too, all the same. So it's like online dating is the same thing as everywhere else in the world. Is the guy or girl at the bar really interested in hooking up with you, or do they believe that going out and having a drink with the girls or the guys is like, I'm putting myself out there to meet new people? Like, everyone's perspective is so different. I think what we're really looking for is just to find someone who actually matches with us, and it's a needle on a haystack no matter like what platform we really find it from, right? Like, that's my personal opinion.
What about if you pay money for like eHarmony? That's not hookup. I disagree with that. I think
No.
I don't think it's
No.
all hookup. I don't.
No, I think, and this is just from my experience, like what guys are telling me that I have talked to. Like, I don't have online dating anymore. Obviously, my situation is like astronomically different, and like, you know, whatever. So I was dating somebody and they died, and I don't have interest in dating or putting myself back out there. I'm still healing.
Fair enough.
So like,
That was me for the last 2 years, honestly. I didn't
Yeah,
go through
and
that,
it's-
but like I didn't go through like it's completely different from yours, obviously. Like it wasn't a death or anything, but it was just
Well,
I
I think-
chose to not do that either.
I think the truth is we all recently experienced death in a relationship. It just looks different for each one of us, which
Yeah.
is actually why this is an interesting topic for us to talk about, you know. Sensitive, for sure, for all of us. But here's the truth. I think everyone, like even me saying like the love of my life died, I'm not the only one. I'm just the only one like in my small group of people who has gone through that. But there is lots of other people in the world who have experienced that kind of loss at such a young age. And the same with divorces or single parenthood, right? Like those are like, you know, we shouldn't be ashamed of those things at all or to talk about them, even though they're sensitive to our soul, because that's literally what everyone in the world is dealing with. But so I'll speak from the perspective of like previous to having dating apps, because like I refuse to go back to that world.
Also, yeah, I'm pretty
It's-
much done with them too.
I can
can't
just
do
say
it
too
anymore.
that it's a lot different for women.
It is,
Right?
and that's why
there's a huge difference there between men doing it and being a woman doing it, because I was told by many women that I've talked to through the years, not like recently, but many women through the years of meeting girls online, is that guys kind of are assholes, and they, if you don't want, not to generalize men, like I don't want to be one of those guys. Now people are like, guys are gonna come on and hate
funny
me for
that the
saying
guy
that.
is
Oh
the
my
one.
God, dude. Guys are gonna come on and shit on me for saying that.
No,
but
no.
I've been
Not all
told by
men.
like
Not all men.
50% of dudes send
Yeah.
their DPs, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
dick pics to chicks. Like, it's like, oh, I'm not interested in you. Okay, well, F you, here's my dick. And it's just like,
Yeah.
what does that do?
You know,
And
but I
or
like
they just
you.
send it before the conversation's really even hitting off. It's just like,
Yeah.
here's that.
Yeah.
Does that?
So,
how,
I guess...
how do you like that? It's like why? Okay, so I'm not like that.
I know.
There got to be other guys out there that are not like that.
So, James, this is exactly like, this is what I mean, needle in a haystack, right? Like, you're actually looking for a relationship, and so you are going to be like that 1% that's out there that we are talking about that's a good dude and, you know, wants actual relationships and blah, 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 blah. All that,
Yeah,
all
you
that
know,
great stuff, but...
Wants a connection. It's like
yeah. But you're not just looking for a sexual, physical relationship. So for you, it's a little
Not in a
too.
like, sure I am. You know what I mean? But I'm not just looking for that. You know what I mean? It's just like everyone.
Yeah.
Quoting like Robert California from The Office, like everything is sex, everything, all of life, everything. It's true, man. Like that's what it eventually leads up to. It's like, sure, yeah, I want to do that, but like I'm not gonna be fucking disrespectful about it. Like I'm gonna be open about what I want and like say I'm not gonna like send though like
Yeah, you're
pictures
like
before like I'm not gonna be rude
being.
about it or anything. Like I'm gonna be open and honest. Some people just want to get together and
That's
hook up
fine.
and they're open and good for you.
That's
I have
fine.
a friend that does that right now. He's online dating.
I have
and
full respect to people who open up with like, "Hey, I'm just looking for a hookup and I don't want to waste your time." Like, thank you. Like, if I
Thank
hope
you,
you,
but
I wish
no.
you well. I hope you get
Yeah,
all
exactly.
the hookups that make you happy in life. Thank you for not wasting my time, and I'm also not wasting their time.
And it's like, no, I'm not just out there to look for hookups. Yeah, I want some sort of connection, but like, you know.
So kind of
everyone
to like
wants
round
love.
back too, because like I guess this subject started off with you asking like, how do we present ourselves online?
Because we're getting off the amputee track, and we're kind of just
Yeah.
going on it.
Well, that's
and
whatever,
like the
just
question
whatever.
like kind of was like online dating specifically, but we can broaden it to just dating because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might not have online dating
So,
experience, but
I
it's
also
just
have a different perspective, I guess, with online dating, and just like, so for me at a young age, I had like issues with devotees.
that was gonna be my like, dude. We could have a whole podcast on
I
just
know
probably
we
that
could.
one.
I know we could. So, and I'll generalize here. So, because I won't go into the story,
And that's
and
more
everything.
for a fear for women than men, I think.
That's why I'm bringing it up, because like your perspective is going to be so much different and is like
I've
another
never
topic
experienced it.
to talk about on another day. But like,
Well,
you've
I
never
mean-
experienced it.
No, I haven't.
Really?
No, I was just thinking
Okay.
of. I've never had someone say, "Oh my God, like send me pictures of your nub or something." No, like or like
I have.
Wow.
You
Okay,
too,
this
Jamie?
is this is gonna be a
James,
whole...
you live a sheltered amputee life.
Yeah.
dude, it's the difference between men and women. I think.
Yeah,
That's what I honestly think it is.
Yeah.
But no, I've never had
So-
that. But I've been with girls that are like, "Oh, okay, wait, maybe yeah, maybe I shouldn't go there." But like, I don't want to be sexually explicit, so let's not go there.
It's whatever. This isn't a podcast meant for children. Just we're
No, it's not,
we're 50
but it's
minutes
just like-
in, but we're gonna say this is not a podcast meant for children. So I didn't highlight for a long period of time that I was an amputee. I never talked about it or showed it, but it wasn't meaning I was hiding it. So like the way I kind of, going back to something I said earlier, I kind of think of it as like a belly button, you know, like I don't feel the need to bring it up, but if we talk about it or it comes up in conversation, like I got stuff to say and I'm not hiding it. So I have done everything that you basically asked. Like I've had the conversation beforehand. I've let them know in person by just showing up and seeing their general reaction. 'Cause like to me, not to say like, I think that it really goes to show the person that they are. Because to me, if someone showed up and had something like, if a person showed up and they were an arm amputee, maybe that's not a great example. I'm trying to think of something else. But like, or had some other disability, I don't feel like it was their responsibility to let me know in advance, like, and warn me that they have that disability, right? Like, to me, it's kind of like if it came up naturally in conversation, which often it will if we're having a really good conversation. And I will kind of like drop hints so it might sneak up if I like the person, like you can kind of cater the conversation a certain way. But like, I also had one time where the guy was like not really letting me talk and explain. Like he would cut me off a lot, which is already like a huge
Red flag.
pet peeve of mine. Yeah.
And the red
So he wanted to, I was going to an appointment for my leg. And at this appointment, it was at my prosthetist. So for those that don't know, it means I'm getting adjustments made to my prosthetic leg. And often that means as a leg amputee, you are not wearing pants in your visit. Well, it does if you're an above leg. Or above knee amputee.
That's why it's an intimate relationship that you have.
It is.
You
It really, really
prosthetist.
is. Yeah. And so I had let him know, like, I was kind of like chatting with him for, like, I don't know, a month or whatever. And he was adamant he wanted to come to my doctor's appointment and bring me coffee so that way he could meet me. And I was trying to explain what my doctor's appointment was, and he just kind of was like not letting me explain, I guess.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Just let me bring you coffee.
Yeah, I don't know. And I sent him the address, so if you put it into Google, you can clearly see you're going to a prosthetist office. Like, I don't know, whatever.
If you're not in that world, you just don't know, right?
Whatever. To me, it was one of those things where it was like, whatever. Like, you know what? It's fun just to see the reaction. So I just let him show up to the appointment
Hell
with
yeah,
coffee and find out. Because I was like, well, you're not really letting me explain and
Learn something.
No offense, but like, if you're not letting the person really actually talk and explain or asking questions further to see that person's interest, which is really what you should be doing when you first start dating, is asking questions to get more about the other person.
So annoying. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
I know,
hate that
right?
so much.
Like that wasn't just like
Can I just know
happening.
somebody and be with them already? Like, I don't want to go. Anyway, sorry. Go on. Sorry to
It
cut you
doesn't
off.
work that way.
I mean, yeah, we'll just hop in a time machine, James. So yeah, like I wanted to see, like, and I let my prosthetist know too, like, hey, this is what's going on. Is it cool? Blah, blah, blah. They thought it was the funniest thing ever. And so, like, we just had a genuine reaction of him showing up and basically, like, me sitting in my underwear going through a leg appointment for the first time and having coffee together. So if that tells you how much I don't give a shit about how other people are going to react to me having one leg or not, like,
That's
I
the way
don't
to
know.
be.
And, like, some people were like, oh, that was really mean of you to do and put him in that place. But I'm just like, no offense. But, like, if he had a sense of humor about it or was still, like, shocked and, like, made
Maybe
a
he
joke.
should have listened to you then when you
Or
were trying
maybe-
to explain to him the process.
Exactly. I don't know. And in my head, I'm like, dating is already so complex. It's so complicated and emotional and draining and blah, blah, blah. It's all those things that we make it to be if we want it to be. But why can't we also just have fun with it? And being an amputee is often challenging, and we go through these turmoils and thought processes like you, James, where you're like, oh, I'm insecure. What is this person like? What does it mean? And I don't know, maybe even as a man too, like it might be a subject that's sensitive where you're like, I don't want a female helping me when I want to be like the one who's doing it. Or, you know, I'm really, really independent. I don't like asking for help. And that's how I was raised. Like, whether it was healthy or
I
not.
will definitely ask for help.
Yeah? Good for you. I'm
That was
learning.
actually going to be the questions that was going to be one of my questions for a later podcast, is like, when to ask for help, when do you like to, like, and again, we can talk about it another time, so I won't be talking about that, but
But, like, to kind of go back into, like, yeah, I don't put it on my profile, and funny enough,
Interesting.
I had this conversation because a long time ago I matched with a leg amputee guy, and he was very, like, public about it on his.
Okay.
And so when we had a conversation about it, I was like, yo, I told him right away, I was like, yo, I have one leg too, blah, blah, blah. And anyways, upon talking to him, like, he asked, like, well, you know, what is it like for you? Because girls get really upset, or females get really upset at him if he doesn't talk about it in advance, and then they cut him, so he felt like it was a waste of time. Whereas, like, I feel like it's a built-in
Hey, man.
filter. It's a built-in filter to see
it's a
how crappy
built-in
people
filter.
are.
Thank you.
Like,
Yeah, that's exactly it.
at
And
the
I
end
just
of the-
want to reiterate that it's not like, I think when I was explaining my like approach to it, I don't think I wasn't trying to put out there that I'm like insecure about it or whatever, but like the different options that people take,
Have,
right?
yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I'm insecure with my arm. I put it out there, and I'm kind of the same, right? Like, I don't care. This is who I am, like it or lump it. That's the boat that I think that's the boat that I fall into. The same as you would just handle it a bit differently, I think. Whereas it's just like,
And I think the ultimate thing is like I feel women are more subjected to
absolutely.
violence and
I answered that too early, but still, absolutely.
yeah, all that other fun stuff, and like Jamie's and mine's experience with devotees. It just kind of gives
Where
you
are they at, man? Like, I've never.
walls everywhere.
How come no chicks are hitting me up like, hey, nice nub?
Everywhere.
Like, where are all the hot devotees?
Whereas, like, for me, I do have a completely different experience online dating, although I wasn't online dating for very long. Like, I gave up pretty quickly. I did meet some pretty cool people, but I think that the majority of people that I met, I could not anymore. But I did put it directly out there because at the time, when I was going to be meeting people, I was not close to the meeting areas. I didn't want to waste my time or my money to get to the date. And for me, that's a huge thing. I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna waste my money. I'm worth a lot of dang money. Okay, I'm just kidding. And so I just wasn't doing it, right. Like, I've just wasted, like, and I mean, this is realistically for me, like, I've just wasted almost 15 years on someone who didn't matter realistically, right. And I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. And so I think that's the reason why I'm like super upfront about it, and I would rather everyone know.
And
right
like Amanda, you said, it's a filter. And that's sort of like
filter, man.
I want to touch on that. So that's why I'm surprised you don't put it like a picture of like that makes it obvious that you're leg amputee, because it filters those people out before you have to meet them and experience shittiness in person. You know what I mean?
The reason I don't put it out there though is like from trauma of stalkers and like abuse and all that fun category stuff.
Again, like it's just a totally different world, man.
It is a total different
That's
world.
what it is.
So for me, it's a safety thing for putting it out there, just from my own personal experience. But then furthermore, it was like, yeah, I don't know. I also feel like I do better talking to people and getting like a good, I don't do well with superficial stuff. So like I'm very much an empath. I can really pick up on people very quickly. Like my emotional intelligence is high. And so for me, having a conversation with someone and them just discovering I'm a leg amputee is going to give me a good baseline for like their behavior or their reactions. I can just tell on how they are. And like, here's the other thing in life, man. And maybe this is just coming from a trauma standpoint, but like, it's not all rainbows and sunshine and like bubbly laughter. Like that part's all great. But like at the end of the day, like for me, what I'm looking for, or what I was looking for, was like a partner who's going to be there for you for the rest of your life. And when you're 80 or you get sick, because inevitably, like, we all die and it's not going to look pretty when we do, like, who's going to be your partner to help you through that? You can't just have like things in common like TV shows and hobbies. Like, who's wiping your ass when you can't? And like, that's kind of, it gets so deep, but I don't put it out there because I can tell by someone's reaction. Like, if you're freaking out or having a reaction because I just have one leg, then that's a problem. But if you're like, it's going to be a problem down the road. Like, it's just like when things pop up in life that are obstacles, how is your reaction? Like, what's your baseline to that? But for me personally, like, I just read people so differently. So, and that's not to say I hide it back. Like, I'm just saying, like, if it didn't come out naturally in conversation, then I just let it happen. And I don't think I've ever had like a terrible experience. I can say like some people were like very shocked or didn't know what to ask. And maybe we're like a little nervous and sweaty, but I know that, and I'm like letting them off the hook. I'm not like being harsh about it. Like, I think it's cute when people are trying to be like, pay attention, or you know what I mean? Like, they want to ask questions. So I don't know. I'm lenient on it, but I think it says a lot about like who that person is and their personality. So I don't know if that helps explain like
It
why
does,
I
man.
just don't kind of put it out there, but
It kind of
I
does,
think,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
It's
But
interesting because the end reasoning for you is like you don't want to waste your time. And
yeah,
that's the reasoning why I do it. It's the reason why you don't do it, and it's
I
the
know.
reason why I do it.
To do
So
it. We
it's
can
like it's
both do
very
it so
interesting.
quickly.
Yeah.
I can tell in under 2 minutes of meeting someone on a date, like it's so the amount of times I've literally like opened a car door and
And be
like
like, fuck.
in 30 seconds just been like
Ah.
I want to leave. And like honestly, I vocalized that in like under half an hour of dates too. Just being like, honestly, like I think we just should just take our coffees to go. So I don't know.
I love it. I'm gonna use that from now
I'm
on.
just I'm very blunt, I
I'm gonna
guess.
take this
So
to go.
I wish I was more blunt and more just could be forward. I just like I'm too like yeah. I'll just be like nice and like okay yeah I'll
That's
just
cool.
go
That's
along
great.
with it.
No.
Like even though I know in my head like this ain't happening. I know this ain't happening, but here I am.
yeah, why? Like okay, I get why.
I waste my
Because
time all the time.
I'm a
Back
people
in the day more than
pleaser.
I do now, but I'm past that
Yeah,
point
I
though.
think
Like
I think as you get
too
older,
old for
because
that.
I think I did that when I was in relationships, right?
Yeah, back
Like
in the day, yeah. I'd say in my 20s I did
the
that.
relationships I have been in, I spent a lot of time people pleasing, is how I'm gonna put it, and being the nice person of like what you're saying, like giving them the benefit of the doubt or whatever. And then I don't know, I feel like I don't like to say wasted time, but you spend so much time on it, and as we get older, like you start to see life and much differently from a different perspective. We're all in our 30s, so we're all kind of in a space in our life where we're like you know, you're past the partying, young,
Yeah.
just becoming adult, and you're starting to see like what you need to build for a future. So it starts to really shift your perspective on it. So James, though, like honestly, do it. It's an adventure. Whatever you're doing
Yeah, it
doesn't
sure
mean
is.
Like
doesn't mean.
Goosebumps. Choose your own adventure.
Have you ever been in a relationship where someone actually just makes you feel like it's not something to worry about? Like it's just as much as your belly button. Like they.
Yeah. Yeah, you mean and that's what I
Respect
honestly
that.
think that's kind of what you want. You want
Yeah.
someone to just be like it's whatever. It's just like whatever. It's just a piece of your body. It's just who you are. It's just like this is normal. This is fine. Like that's what you're looking for, right? Like someone and you know what? To be honest, we go on and we talk about this and the crazy things that happen with dating, but like honestly, more than like 90, however many percent of people just probably don't care, right? Like the latest girl I was dating, I was like, you know, does this like I went on a few dates with her, or whatever. She was like, well, did you know? I'm like, do you think this is weird? Like when you like are, would you want to be like, you know, I sometimes attract a lot of attention in public. Like when I go out with an arm that looks like this, I should have a fucking visual in front of me right now. I should show people the arm so they can see what I mean. But it's just like I don't know. You know, I get a lot of looks here and there. Like, can you deal with that? And like, they don't care. She said to me like, I think people just look because they think it's cool, man. I'm like, I wonder if they think I'm weird or whatever. Or, no, I think people just genuinely think like it's pretty badass or it's pretty cool, whatever. Like that's what people are thinking when they look at you. Now it's a whole different ball game going out with my daughter now. That's a topic for another day. But it's yeah, I think that it's I kind of got lost my train of thought there because I was gonna go into that whole ordeal. But no, yeah, that's just kind of like how you know, my latest date. That's sort of what I asked. Like, you know, would this weird you out if we were out? And she thought like most people think it's like cool, man. They like respect it or whatever. I guess like as long as you're not like, I don't know, like I don't know, just like milking being an amputee and like looking for sympathy and that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think that's good.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I do want
It
some.
w-
Yeah,
if
me
it
too.
works, if it works for you.
Never, but
Um, for me, like so I haven't been in many relationships, as you guys know, and the rest now know as well. I haven't been in many relationships, but 100% of them that I have been in, that's the way I felt. I would not have been in a relationship if I did not feel that way. If I did not feel like it wasn't a big deal to them. Because, realistically, like, I grew up in a family where there are amputees. And so it was just so normal for me.
normal. Yeah.
And it just isn't it isn't really an issue. It's not really a thing. And I'm a very, very independent person. And if anything, I take care of other people. So, having someone take care of me realistically, especially right now in my life, I don't need it. It just doesn't happen, right? So I realistically take care of others. And so, yeah, I think that people don't, like, the people that I've dated or that I've been with or been in a relationship with, they think it's not a big deal. Or at least that's what they've made me believe anyway.
Yeah, that's how they make you feel. So why
Yeah,
would you feel
yeah,
otherwise? Yeah,
exactly. And it isn't a big deal. Like, it really truly isn't at all.
Honestly, man, that's what I wonder. I wonder if people see it and they think like, oh, it's like, oh, if only you knew me and you could see me day to day and see that, like, it's nothing, man. Like, I figure it out. It's just like, I might do things like slightly different, but like, I'm doing everything on my own. I'm figuring it out. It's not like I'm, you know what I mean? Like, needing constant help and this and that, and like, dude,
If
I'm
there's
doing
anything, there's more
than some
arm
people
jokes.
with two hands are doing. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's, you know what I mean? Like,
There's
I'm
more
super,
what,
I'm active.
Jamie?
I'm kicking
said,
ass
if
everywhere I go.
anything-
Feels like,
If anything, there's more arm jokes.
yeah.
And I'm sure for you, Amanda, more leg jokes.
Yeah, I mean, I love a good leg joke if, the person already knows I'm cool with it and everything, for sure. Yeah, but I think, like, there's two different, and not to say, like, one is bad, but I also have experienced kind of, like, two different perspectives where, like, either they think, and guys are so different, so, like, they think it's, like, a cool robot device, and are like, oh, that's so, like, you're so inspiring, and blah, 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 and, like, not that that's a bad thing, but it kind of weirds me out a little.
That's-
Like,
yeah.
I don't want to, like, inspire and motivate you. I just want you to, like, hand me my leg if
Just wanna
it's
be normal,
on your
man.
side of the floor. Like,
But unfortunately, yet fortunately, you inspire people
yeah.
as an amputee every day, everywhere you go, man. They see you walking on, your leg, and they're like, look at that person go. And so you can't get away from that. So you got to learn to love it, and you should.
Yeah, I guess I'm fine with it. I'm not like, I don't know. It is what it is. I obviously understand because it's like I don't know, even when I watch someone else who's an amputee that's like a little kid or something, and when I watch them and see them do things like the way it makes me feel or motivates me or whatever, I try and think of it as the same way, so that way I have a really hard time accepting like compliments. I don't know if you know this about me. I get like really awkward and start to do this weird thing where I start like bringing up a million other things so it doesn't relate to me. Like,
You're
just
very
divert.
beautiful inside and out.
I divert away from you. I'm like, so are you though, Jamie? Look at you and all the wonderful things you do. I don't know how to take compliments. I just become awkward. So I don't know. Like, I guess for me, that's also why, like, I don't think, I know I'm an amputee, guys, but like in my mind, like, I was born that way. I just don't really think of it a lot of the time. So when people are like, you motivate or inspire, I'm like, well, I hope that, like, I don't know. I just like to be seen as normal, I guess. Like,
That's
just
yeah.
average. I want to just be average.
That's the
okay?
dream of all amputees. We all just want to
like-
be like treated normally and average, but it's unfortunately, I mean, we are technically. We are.
We
but this is
are,
not
but
the
like,
way it's
I
gonna-
also like. Let's also address that we're also really
Yeah,
unique and we're not. Like, lots of people I date, I'm probably the only amputee. Not that I actually like have dated all these people. I'm like Jamie. I've barely dated anybody. So, but,
Dude, it's been 2 years. I'm a monk.
let's not even.
I'm a father first, man. That was my prerogative of the last couple years.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, like I will just say for me now in the place I'm in, because I've shifted to a much different place, right? So after Lee Grit passed, I very much just feel like unless that person makes me feel like heated or better, then like I just don't want it. Like I'd rather just be by myself. And the way he made me feel was not like not just, I'm motivating him or inspiring him or anything like that. Like for perspective, he was in like the army, so he has dealt with and seen people have limbs removed in front of him. And
it's
all
just
that
not a big deal to some people, and that's the people that you want to be with, right? It's just the people that take it.
Yeah, so like
cares?
in a
It's
weird
it's you.
sense,
It is what it is.
yeah,
But
it is
at
what
the
it
same
is.
time, you want someone to understand.
It's
It's
also
not
really
always
nice
Yeah.
when they help out, when they see like it's just something that's easy. So like for example, like if we were walking on the beach and I was like struggling with something with my leg, like he would just make sure like let me give you a stability on that side. It wasn't like I had to ask or do anything. It was just kind of like he
Just
would know
know.
where to stand and
Yeah.
what to do just to kind of help without making the comment or making it feel a certain way, right? And then like constantly if I was talking about my insecurities with it, because I had to go back to like a suspension belt and I was like really hating it, like really not happy with it, coming out of surgery and just having all these complications, and I was really struggling with it. And anytime I talked about it as if I was like, for me, mentally and physically I wasn't on the same page. I used to be someone who was like working out all the time and able to like just be like athletic, and then I wasn't able to. So like my mental connection was having such a hard time with like my physical connection, I guess you could say. And anytime I talked about it, he would listen like so openly, but then just kind of follow up with like, I wish you saw yourself the way I saw you. And like there's something about that that just made me start being like, okay, well, how does he see me? Right? And like start to actually question and like push my perspective on it. And I still hold that to like my heart now, is like I should be viewing myself the way he viewed me, not how like I don't know. So it's kind of like shifted things a bit, but I do think like how they view you, how they treat you, like I don't know. It has to just make me feel normal,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
yeah.
I know.
Like
I get what you're saying.
100% just normal. I don't know how else. I don't want to be on a
That's what everyone's
pedestal.
looking for, man. At the end of the day, you just want to find someone that you're comfortable with, that you don't have to try so hard around. You just be yourself. They know you. They they
You know
have
how
respect
like
for
your
you.
dog just
Chills.
doesn't really
Doesn't
make
even- your
anything
dog,
out of
yeah.
you being an amputee, or your cat, Jamie. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I want, I would want some guy to treat me how my dog loves me unconditionally. Okay, that's how I
But
summarize
I think
that.
the reality is there is, for the most part, we're just any average normal person, but there are some challenges, I guess, that come along with it, right? There are some differences, let's say, not challenges. Just trying to find the right word. It's like
No,
being
I
an
think
amputee. There are
challenges
some-
is even okay to say too, though, because
Yeah,
like we
like,
all have obstacles.
So you need somebody that understands that too,
Yeah.
and understands what you want from them.
Because, like, let's be real, okay? I don't know how it is with you guys, but, like, when I get a new leg, my doctor's appointments, my fittings, the travel I have to do, it becomes a pain in the ass. Like, I'm going back and forth constantly to the city every few weeks to try and get stuff done. It means I can't keep up with my chores around the house with the transition because I'm walking, and it hurts, and, like... It's just such a it's so difficult that like it does ebb and flow with my life as I go through these stages. So that is something that like I would need a partner to understand that. Like that's not normal that for
Yeah,
people
that's what I
who-
mean. There are some things that like
Yeah, so
you need
and-
a solid partner to kind of like understand that. And
That
but I think at the end
understands
of the day,
that.
you really just need someone that loves you for who you are, right? Like that's what we all want. Every
Yeah.
person, even
even everyone with all of their limbs.
even all the able-bodied,
The normies.
the normies out there.
the four-limbed humans.
The normies. I like that. We're the no armies and no leggies, and they're the normies. All the normies. That's what we should call them from now on this podcast. Anyone who has all four limbs are
Is
the
what?
normies. They're the
Or
normies.
Yeah, the normies
The
out
normal
there.
people. We, as amputees, have some of those as well. But for the most part, just so people are all the normies watching right now, for the most part, regular people.
We're just like
you.
you.
Just might see some arms and legs laying around the house. Okay. You might have to cut my steak. All right. Is that so bad?
By the way, James,
Yeah.
just send the dang steak back and ask the chef to cut it.
Dude,
for frick's
I
sakes.
can cut a steak. Okay. Let's just put an
Oh.
end to this right now.
You're like, let's take care.
Let me go get my clamp. I'll clamp the shit out of that fork. I will devour that steak. I'll eat it like a whatever the hell you got, lion, a carnivore? Is that what I'm gonna say? Yes. Just like, I don't.
I thought you were gonna say a cannibal. So
Yeah, I'll eat it like a cannibal. Yes. No.
That's where your arm went.
Yeah.
I thought Jamie was on the same page as me. Like, I thought she also was thinking that you're gonna say cannibal, because Jamie and I both share the same morbid
Well, you know what?
brain that way.
Those people are actually out there.
Well, we know.
Cannibals.
Would you want to play an amputee
Would I?
in
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
like a
Yes.
show or a movie?
Yes.
Would you guys do it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
man.
If I like, so one, honestly, the only thing is like I never want to leave my dog, so filming will have to take location in town. But aside from that, I'm not saying I would be a good actor, but I think I'd actually have a really fun time playing a zombie, or any horror movie stuff would be like a blast. I think.
Absolutely.
If they
Any
paid me
sign
good,
me
I
up
would do
for
anything.
Saw.
Not
Pardon?
anything.
What?
What?
What'd you say, James?
I said if they paid me good enough, I would do anything. But then I stopped and I said, well, not anything. But if they're gonna pay me to be in a movie, hell yeah, I'd do that. To be like why not?
Yeah, I
feel
mean,
like
I
it would
don't.
be so much fun. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to be like really gored up. Like,
Yes.
that's something I want. So like someone who's
Wait,
like
I don't care about that.
professional.
I just
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It just
and
be
like
fun.
yeah,
And also, I think like representation matters, and like most amputees in movies aren't real amputees, and that's a subject for another day. But that is something like I'm passionate about. Like, there's enough amputees out there, and amputees who are in the acting industry that
absolutely.
aren't getting the positions because they're not like for the everyday able-bodied roles. Like, yeah, I'm a big advocate for use the people that are out there. Like, they're out there. Yeah, whatever, we can do CGI and all that other stuff, but you could also just actually hire a real amputee and be supportive too.
yeah. I see casting calls all the time for
Representation.
amputees on like Facebook and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, here's this casting call from like the different organizations that I follow that support amputees. Here's a casting call for this and that, and they're looking for amputees between this age. So I'm all for them using real, like, instead of just doing some CGI.
Yeah.
It's been, a really great conversation. I've enjoyed this today, and I hope people listening enjoyed it. And,
I've learned a lot about you, James.
Have you
Everyone
learned a
go
lot
look
about
for
me?
James on dating apps.
Look for me on
James
the
is
dating
gonna
apps, okay?
regret everything he said about being like dating and out
Let me
there.
know what you
and
think about my approach on my dating profile. You can find me on Facebook dating. The worst one, apparently. Everyone says it's the worst one that I use.
No, it's not. No,
I
it's
have no
not.
idea.
You're fine.
but-
You're fine.
You're fine, James. You're
But
fine.
yes, no, really, please go out and swipe right, okay?
Yeah.
And,
James is not
This is his
but in all
definite.
seriousness,
Yeah.
no, I think that
In all
it's
seriousness, James would like you to put down below what your zodiac sign, age, location, and your
One
three
thing
top
I-
interests are, and the things that mean the most to you in life and your life goals, to see if you can align with him. We're actually now just using this as a form of online dating for James.
yes, this
We're just
strictly
venting.
This is strictly for me and my dating
Absolutely.
advances here.
Careful
This
what
is-
you say, because
No, but for real, I think that
you're
people,
cute
you
enough
know,
that people will jump on it. Just
well,
And
it's
you
not
know,
like
and
I have an influx of messages here, so it's like,
Yeah.
I'll take what I can get, I guess. But
and what I learned about Amanda is that she doesn't realize it, but she does have two legs in her dreams. She hasn't really connected.
yeah,
those
I
things.
haven't. The next, I'm gonna think about this
Now
a
that
lot
I've-
in my upcoming dreams.
Now that I've analyzed your dreams, you know, now that I've analyzed it in general.
And I have learned nothing new about either of you. I think I knew all of these things about both of you.
yeah, you know what? I can't even. The funniest thing was having been so close to Jamie over the years and working so close with her over the years.
Yeah.
I never knew this dream stuff, and we never discussed this dream stuff, so that was super cool, man. How you
other
can
thing I
use your
want-
hand in your dream, and I can't use my hand, and that blows my mind. And you know what? I hope it blows the minds of the people listening as well, and that they
Yeah.
liked this
Well,
video.
I'm sure it'll blow a few people for sure.
Definitely.
Why did you say that? Anyway, it's
The other thing too that we should do, and maybe bring it back to this channel to chat about, if we ask our friends what we look like in their dreams.
Oh, that's interesting.
kinda
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I think that we
I
should
know
do that.
my friends will just be.
I don't have
dickheads
friends,
and
though,
say-
so-
I don't have friends. Well, that's another topic. Write that down. How do you find it hard to make friends as an
You guys are
amputee?
my only friends, okay? No.
So not true.
I know.
That's okay.
I
man.
know.
I'll be your friend. I'll be your friend forever.
Thank you, friends, for joining me on our new adventure together. I'm honestly so pumped. I think that this will be just a super cool project for us, and excited for what paths this may lead us down and connect us. I think one of the most beautiful things about being an amputee is our community and the way we get to bond and have a unique experience that those normies don't get to have. So with that being said, absolutely, if you've watched this far into the video, please comment down below. We want to hear subjects you want to hear us talk about, or things that you have had your experiences. You know, like, do you dream, if you're someone that is an amputee, like, do you dream with limbs or without limbs? What is your experience
I gotta
with
know now.
online dating? We want to hear all that stuff.
It's cool, man.
Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on this video, and also make sure that you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos that we have. With that being said, I hope you guys all have the most beautiful day ever. Thank you so much, guys.